Hi, this is Jonathan Weiner at Maryland China Company, and we have a very special presentation today. I am with a very talented painter. Lina Mroz has come to join us, and she's going to show us a few new techniques today. Lina, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
And we brought a couple projects that we want to tell you about and show you what we can do. So, if you are getting into painting and you have some questions about how do I get a design down onto the piece that I'm doing, something that will help me get my lines down so I have the guidelines for doing my design and my painting, we can use digital decals to do that. And so Lina brought a project that she is working on with us. Do you want to tell them about this
Yes.
flower?
When I have a design, Jonathan gladly makes the decal for us. And I brought a small piece now that I cut, and it's a gladiola. And I'm going to show painting on this wet on wet.
Yes, so we're going to do this wet on wet painting technique. But first, let's get into how we do these digital decals. I'm going to show one other project. Let's say you make a design through ChatGPT of yourself being chased by a shark, and you want to paint that on porcelain. You could do any kind of digital image that you want, but as you can see, I just created this one here. In Photoshop, we have some techniques like you can posterize in order to reduce the number of colors, and then we can do some things with the opacity and the fill in order to lighten it up. And what we will end up with is this lighter decal, similar to what Lina's showing with this flower. And I'll show you also how the piece fires out. You can see that these light kind of gray decals will be very light when you fire them onto the porcelain. What's nice about that is it's very light. It's good enough for guiding painting, but then as you paint and begin to fire the colors, it isn't very noticeable. So it's a great way of getting guidelines down there. And we're going to show you how we are going to use this with a painting project and show some of the painting today. So
I'm using your colors,
okay.
Maryland China colors. This is New Rose Pink, and I have your Balsam of Copaiba medium. So I will mix, since I'm doing wet on wet, I'm going to mix the two colors that I'm going to be painting.
And we're sort of just using this drawing as inspiration.
Absolutely.
How
Absolutely.
the petals look.
It's not going to be full painting. It's just going to be
right.
Something.
We're just going to show kind of the start of the project today.
Yes, and I do add the medium slowly.
And how much paint do you like to create at a time?
I am not a person that likes a lot of painting mixed at once because it can be wasted if you finish your project and you have a lot of painting left, because these paints don't last a long time if you want to reuse them. So maybe I just put too much now because I can take it home and finish my project, which is fine. But normally I don't like to use a lot. Then I will mix the second color, which is our favorite, elderberry.
Elderberry, okay. And it looks like you're mixing it a little bit more liquid than kind of that toothpaste thickness, because you want it to stay able to drip and wet.
Yes, when I'm painting wet on wet, this is not very thick. Look, it's dripping a little bit, you know. I can add a little more powder paint on it. But when you do a very much toothpaste consistency, there are different times.
Different kind of toothpaste. This looks kind of more like honey is kind of the thickness. Of
I'll show you. Yep. I will probably add a bit more color if I have to, because when the paint is a little thick, I dip the brush in turpentine to take the color easier on the brush. Yeah. Okay. See, like this one is also a good consistency. Yeah. See, when you lift it, you don't want it to drop.
Yep.
Okay.
And so you can thin it as you go along.
I can.
Turpentine.
Absolutely. I can take a little bit of this and just add a little more color. Because when you don't want to use all the paint, you don't want to waste and add this to everything. And you have to feel the spatula a little bit sticky on the tile when you mix. That's how you know your paint is correct consistency. So this is good. Now I have turpentine. I always add some medium on the tile. I'll tell you why in a minute. And I have my number 4 brush. And I have turpentine here. So what I do to begin is I condition the brush, dip it in turp, and then wiggle it into the medium. So we make sure we have beautiful end of the tip of the brush. These are quill brushes. Now I'm going to take some of the color. If the color is difficult to take, you just dab more turp and bring it in. So I'm going to start here, and I will show in a minute. When you paint wet on wet, you're going to make your shading lighter at the bottom of the painting because each flower has to have light.
And so your first layer that you're putting down is the lighter color.
Absolutely,
right?
Yes.
And typically for one session, how many colors will you look to do?
If I have to finish all this today, I will do the 2 coats, which is wet on wet, and then I can finish the middle here.
Let it dry.
Yeah,
and then
and
work
in
on the
this case, we have some yellow on this bottom petal, so I can add yellow and mix it, bring it in with the pink.
And in this case, the decal that Lina put down first and fired onto the tile is proving to be really good guidelines. And typically, will you paint over those lines enough that you can't
I will
see them
show you.
anymore?
Yes. We don't like to see those lines.
And of course, the other option would be to actually put black or a dark color over them for anything you want to emphasize.
At the end, if you want to emphasize your outlining, absolutely. Right. So now, what I'm going to do is try to get out a bit of the bottom part to make more light. So I clean the brush and I just swipe out.
And you're preferring to do this with the brush rather than the wipeout tool?
The wipeout tool is not needed in this case.
Okay.
See?
So really thinning out what the amount of color that's in the center of that flower to give it.
We can
that
always
kind of
put
shading
a
illusion.
little bit of medium to smoothen it out more. This way you don't have any painting strokes left that are not wanted. So now I'm going to use the elderberry, which is beautiful color. Take a bit more.
And so you're actually putting the elderberry on top of the other layer of paint, which is the darker on top of the lighter.
You see?
And you've worked with these colors before, so you know that it will mix correctly on the tile.
To make my, look at that.
Yeah.
See? We don't see those lines.
Yep. The second layer that Lina's putting down is covering up a lot of the decal lines.
Yeah, it's my guideline for the lines in the petal.
Mm-hmm.
See?
And do you ever have colors that you are using together that you know not to mix?
When it comes to yellow, you need to use mixing yellow.
Okay.
It's a problem if it's not mixing yellow.
Right.
And cadmium colors.
Because the metallics in the colors will react and give you some unintended results.
So I'm going to show the camera at least what I'm doing here. And I'll show you how I wipe some of the lines if I want to make them thinner. So if I find the brush is a little bit dry, I always dip in the turp. See, we never got rid of the bottom layer color.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can do, you take the brush and make it like a knife, and you can make your lines thinner.
And you actually like to use this rounded brush that you have kind of flattened out with the medium in order to get that sharper point.
To remove the middle,
paint around
the middle,
the
I use my brush, I clean it, and I just clean it. I don't have to use the wipe-out tool. Sometimes in these instances, the wipe-out tool will leave a mark towards where you finish, you know. And
it's a little bit more harsh of, of an edge.
See, this looks much better this way. See?
That's great.
Now, in the bottom part, I didn't mix. I'm not going to finish those. And of course, if I want to clean the edge also, I clean my brush with turp, and I just go around it. So it's very clean.
Sure.
And then, if need be, I have those Q-tips. Just wipe the excess. But I don't touch my painting. So you see, when my brush gets split, dab it in turp, and then wiggle, wiggle, wiggle in the medium. Then you have a beautiful brush to paint. So I'm going to mix a bit of yellow just to show you how I mix the yellow with the pink here. Okay. And this is mixing yellow from Maryland, China.
All right, so you can paint with this at the same time.
Exactly.
That you're painting wet with those other colors.
Yeah, and I'm not mixing much because it's just going to be a small part. Like you say in this picture, see there's yellow and there's light pink here. Mm-hmm. And medium. I always put the medium on the side, never ever put the medium on top of the color.
And so you fold the powder into
the medium. Yes, if you put the medium on top of the color, sometimes you add a lot, and then you end up adding more color and waste more and so forth. So clean the brush. So I will have to put the yellow.
And on a typical project of this size, are you going to do one petal and then let it dry and then go to the next one? Or you like to do the whole thing?
If I was in my studio, I'll do this the whole thing. So I applied my yellow, then I clean the brush, then I go back into my pink.
And for our new students, how often would you paint and let something dry before you keep painting versus letting it dry and fire before you then do another session painting?
Mostly the medium we use is closed medium, so it dries. Mm-hmm. And my new students, I start them with the small strokes. I let them learn all the strokes. While they're working, it can dry.
Yeah. And then they would just keep going, complete the whole project.
Exactly.
And then fire. Okay.
Exactly. So see, there's no problem coming into the yellow.
And again, you're putting that lighter color down first.
See?
Now that you have that layer of yellow on there, and then we'll follow it up with the darker.
Exactly, exactly. Because by the time I come to the yellow, I have to lift the brush, and I will show you how I can blend as well. I can go back on the yellow, make sure, because it's a lighter color, then I can go like this. Look at that.
You're kind of pulling the yellow now into the light purple that we put down.
Yes, yes, yes. And then clean the brush so we can end up with no harsh connections. How's that? See?
Strokes that Lina's doing are starting to hide some of the decal lines.
Exactly.
And what is still visible is kind of helping emphasize it.
After firing, there will be another coat to darken. So you're going to have 3 layers.
Yeah.
The pink, the light pink, the elderberry, there's going to be another elderberry on top. So you're going to have 3 layers.
So you would typically do a project like this in about 3 firings?
Yes. Yes, definitely. And by the way, the firing can be 016 or I think 1500 for Fahrenheit. Okay. Now, if I want to thin my lines back here, of course, I can drag. And then some more yellow if we need a bit. There you go. So This is painting
Looking
wet on
great.
wet. And I've done this at home yesterday. It's not fired. It's another flower. I did it freehand drawing. It's not a decal, just to show how the outcome is. Every petal has different movements. And then I did a small leaf just to show how I add pink on the green.
And the combination of the colors here and the strokes, it
Yes.
looks very sophisticated, very beautiful.
Once it's fired, it looks even
Yeah,
prettier.
it pops even more. So. And you would typically fire this at
016.
Okay.
016. If you have reds, never 016.
That's too hot for them.
Never.
They have to be down at 017, 018.
So that's it for this demonstration.
Okay. Well, we hope that was helpful for you. And we're going to include Lina's contact information in the description on this video so that you can contact her if you're interested in her classes. She also runs seminars where she'll have painters visit. But we'll do another video kind of introducing that. But Lina, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right,
My
great.
pleasure. Thank you.